I hope all is well with you where you are, whatever time zone you're in, whatever state, whatever country you're in, whatever kind of job or profession you have or do, whatever kind of skill you apply, whatever value you bring to life. I hope that God blesses you in every way that you need it, that's necessary to bring him glory. And I hope that God's favor is on your life and that he causes all that you do with your hands to prosper. In Jesus' name. I really, I got a feeling that this is Ecclesiastes 9 today. And I'm not going to say that what I'm about to discuss has any relativity to the scripture itself that's in the word. But I really I want to make it known that um, I like to try when I do things online, when I make these videos, when I post things, I try to be inspirational and motivational, and I don't know if I'm doing any good. I don't know. I don't know if I'm having an impact, and it's really not for me to know because, and I've said this before, that I do this for the glory of God. I'm not trying to have fame or be famous or not. This isn't for my gain at all. And if I gain anything, I hope that the Lord is pouring into me that I might continue to do better at this as time progresses. At everything that I'm able to do with all my skill sets, whatever I bring to the table, I pray that the Lord continues to be a blessing to others as well as myself, so that we can continue to be blessings to others, and it filters out and it spreads and it starts to have an impact. And it I've got to say, I think a lot about people that I care about, that I love, that have been in my life for many years, that I grew up with, that my parents, my children, my sisters and siblings, my any relationships that and one thing that bothers me more than anything is seeing somebody struggle with stuff. I mean, you see people act out in anger, lashing out, you know, trying to get attention for stuff, or and you see it, and sometimes you just want to get mad at them for doing it, but that's not the reason why they don't mistake their lashing out as they're taking it out on you, because that's not what they're doing. There's a cry for help is what it is. It's please help me. And sometimes it's easy to get confused about it because they don't know any better. And there was a point where in our lives, my life, your life, wherever you are in the world, whatever, however your lifestyle is, the choices you made throughout your life, only you know that. Only you know that, and God knows that. But I know for myself, specifically for my own testimony, a lot of the things that I've experienced in my life that, and that I didn't agree with, that I felt were unhealthy, that I knew I could do better, or you know, I could have turned out any different than the way I am now. I could have turned out to be a whole different person. I could have continued down the rotten trodden path that I was walking in. continue to make stupid choices and decisions and make bad moves and and it's not that I'm saying that I intentionally try to hurt people. I don't. It's not nothing intentional behind my actions, and if I've ever hurt anybody, I'm sorry. I really just it's not something that I'm trying to do because I try to be the pillar. And sometimes in our trying to do good, we're actually doing more damage than good. And all the things that we want to do better and trying to do good and trying to lift up and inspire people and coach and motivate. And sometimes we do more damage than good because we're not seeing through that other person's eyes how we're coming across. We don't see what they see because everybody has a different perspective. Every person, every individual on this earth has a different perspective than the next person. You're not always going to see things just like your neighbor sees them. And sometimes you might stand in agreement on a few things, but that's not 9 times out of 10, you're going to completely disagree on any particular subject at any specific time. I mean, that's why we all live different lives and we all have different positions. And God talked to me this week, and it's the funniest thing how the Lord speaks because the Lord, if the Lord was to audibly speak to any person, I believe that His voice would completely obliterate anybody who hears it. But that's just my thinking from the idea that I've been given of His power. But just to recognize that, and I want to help you, and then maybe this is for somebody who's going to watch this video, because I don't get a whole lot of views, and I don't really look for people to be scrolling through my YouTube channel and listen to this man. He's helping us. I don't. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm hoping to help at least that one person. If I can help one person, and I feel like I'm doing God's work. But He told me, look at the clock. So I looked at the clock. I mean, not the digital clock on your phone, but the clock on the wall, like the analog, where you see the hour hand and the minute hand. The hour hand or the minute hand working its way around, and the hour hand working its way around behind the minute hand. And you see it. And what he what he gave me, this is the most powerful thing that I've received from God in the past months. And this is something that I believe is a revelation for somebody, not just me. So I'm going to just give it to you. He told me time and position are the same thing. And it didn't really ring, but it just came to me suddenly. And it all came, it's like a flood. You have to understand, in order for time to be the hour to be recognized about what the specific time is, hour and the minute, the position of the hands on the clock have to be pointed however they're pointed, you know, in whatever way they're pointed. And in order to know the time, they would have to be positioned. And in order for you to be positioned, you have to be on time. And like I said, I don't know if this is going to be relative to anything having to do with Ecclesiastes at all. Because I'm in chapter 9 today of Ecclesiastes, and I really don't want to make an elongated video like I normally would do a bunch of babbling. But I don't know how to explain when I tell people how much stuff that I've been through, and I'm not very old. I'm only a 47-year-old man, but I feel like I've lived an 85-year-old man's life. And you wouldn't. Some of the stuff that I can promise you this. Some of the stuff that I've been through in my life, you probably either would not have survived it or wish you had not have. And I've lived a hard life, and a lot of it wasn't by choices that I made to wind up in those specific positions in my life, but it was just stuff that I had to experience to help me be matured into the man that I have become today. And I hope that you can understand what I'm saying. But remember that I'm saying this for you to understand that time and positioning are the same thing. In order for time to be recognized, things have to be in position. So, like when fall comes in, autumn, or the season starts to change, you start seeing the things come into position. The leaves start coming on the tree, or the leaves start falling off the tree. You start seeing clouds come in, you start seeing clouds go. You start seeing the winds change in directions. The positioning of things start to change. So time changes. In order for you to recognize the time change, the position of the time will change, and you will know the position. The seasons change and the position of the earth changes. The time changes with the position of the earth. We just went through a time change within the last 24 hours. Today is November 5th of 2023. Right now it's 3:14 p.m. where I am. And I started this video about 12 minutes ago. So it's started at 3:02 p.m. and where I am in the world right now in Kansas, America. To be honest, I have this has been one of the hardest experiences of my life, and it's not easy, and it's when it seems like it's getting easier, it's not. And people don't see what you have to go through in order to accomplish something, or see things come to fruition or start to take place in your life. And when you start growing and you start acquiring or accomplishing new things, people just start thinking, oh, yes, that person is just so lucky. They always get everything they want. That's not the case. You have no clue what that person is going through. You have no clue what that person went through to get to that position. And they had to go through some times and some positions to change to get there. So in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, for all this I considered in my heart, even to declare all this, that the righteous and the wise and their works are in the hand of God. No man knoweth either love or hatred by all that is before them. All things come alike to all. There is one event to the righteous and to the wicked, to the good and to the clean, and to the unclean, to him that sacrificeth, and to him that sacrificeth not. As is the good, so is the sinner, and he that sweareth, as he that feareth an oath. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live, and there they and after that they go to the dead. I'm going to read that one again because I kind of stumbled over my words. This is verse 3 in chapter 9. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live, and after that they go to the dead. For to him that is joined to all the living there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, neither have they any more a reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. Also, their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished. Neither have they any more a portion forever in anything that is done under the sun. Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart, for God now accepteth thy works. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity, which he hath given thee under the sun, all the days of thy vanity, for that is thy portion in this life, and in thy labor which thou takest under the sun. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to the men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. For man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare. So are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. The wisdom have I seen also under the sun, and it seemed great unto me. There was a little city, and few men within it, and there came a great king against it, and besieged it, and built great bulwarks against it. Now there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city. Yet no man remembered that same poor man. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. The words of wise men are heard in quiet more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. And I'm going to stop there. And like I said, I didn't know whether this specific book would be relative to what I talked about, time and positioning. But it was specifically about the time that we spend living, the things that we do in life, how we live, what we do with what we've done, and how we apply the knowledge that we gain, how we help people when we see them struggling, and if we let them struggle just to let them struggle, or if they choose to struggle. Some people, and I'm going to include myself in this, some people will struggle intentionally, and they'll try to use that as a tool of manipulation to try to direct their way into getting favor by having people take pity or feel sorry for them, instead of just taking responsibility for their own being and just doing what's necessary to do the right thing. For example, a homeless person doesn't have to stay homeless. I could say that I feel bad for homeless people, But I myself, once being homeless, know that it's possible to work out of that predicament. You don't have to stay there. And if a person chooses to stay there, no matter whether I pour into that person and try to help them as much as possible or not, makes it irrelevant if they choose to stay where they are. If a man, if somebody is raised and taught by someone with a broad set of skills, and the person receiving that knowledge from the person that has the knowledge unwittingly, they'll start to pick up little traits and characteristics of the person that practiced doing those things consistently because they watch them do it. Even from a distance, they're watching that person and they see the actions that that person is taking, and they're watching and developing those skills in their mind. And eventually, even though they've seen it done, they really don't know how to do it because they haven't done it themselves yet. But the minute they start, I remember I used to see this person do this all the time. I wonder if I could do that. And then they start trying to apply the knowledge that they were taught under. And then, as the father does, the son shall do also. As the mother does, the daughter should do also. So, if you think about it, we gain knowledge from people that come before us, our predecessors, our people that came in, that brought us into this world. They taught us what we know. Even if they didn't think they were teaching us, we were learning from them how to be and how to become. If they didn't willingly teach us or show us anything, and they inadvertently taught us what we know or what we grew or how we used, and they also taught us how to apply that knowledge, whether it be purposefully or coincidentally. But still, the person, the recipient of that knowledge, is going to apply it the way they see fit, but not in all cases. Sometimes the recipient rejects the knowledge they're being given because they don't agree with it. It's something that they don't like. They don't agree with it. They don't want to do it because it's not something that interests them. And they have particular interest because they see their friends doing something and it catches their attention more than the things that's boring them. So they start paying attention more and learning more about what they're interested in. It's a diversion by their own mind because they're choosing it. But still, they have knowledge, regardless if they wanted to keep it or not, from the original source. I hope I'm making sense right now. But then there are people who you really want to do your best to help them, and you've had the knowledge, you've had the experience, you've had the time, and you've got your stripes, and you've been through the fight, and you've been through it, and you've given it all, and having had all that you've had and acquired taken from you several times, and you've lost and got back and then lost again, and you've lost more than you've ever had, and you've been through it and struggled and scraped and just tooth and nail scraping and scrounging as much as you can to do the best you can with what you have, even through all the adversity, even through all the rejection, and even through all the resistance, and even through all the stuff that tries to block you to keep you from moving forward. And you still take that, and then you take that and try to be a living example to another person that's living under similar circumstances, but they would rather just stay where they are because it's all they've ever known. They don't want to. They don't want to. They know that you have problems, but your problems aren't as important as their problems because their problems are worse and more and their problems are the only ones that matters because it's affecting them directly. But then what they're really not trying to do is find a solution to the problem. They're trying to use that problem to profit, and it never works. And let me explain something to you. A solution or fix, two different types of answers to problems. You can fix the thing that's broken, but you got to understand something. If it broke before, the fix is only temporary. And if you fix it just to keep it working, excuse me, if you fix it just enough to keep it working, you'll wind up fixing it again because it's probably going to break in a different way. The same thing will wind up getting broken, but it'll get broken in a different way and you'll have to fix it again. So the fix is only a temporary solution. Sort of like somebody who's an alcoholic, their fix is to drink as soon as they get off of work. Somebody who's just doesn't want to do anything in life. They just want to laze around. Their fix is trying to manipulate people. And a fix is something that's a temporary solution. Okay, I'll use the word solution in that context, but the word solution in the new context I'm about to give you, this is versus the fix. So you have fix versus solution. So you can fix a problem or you can solve a problem. A fix is like, okay, I got a cut. I'm going to put a band-aid on it. That'll fix it temporarily. It'll fix it because if I take the band-aid off, it just might start bleeding again. I'm going to put another band-aid on it. Or it'll heal up, and then later on, I'll probably wind up getting cut by the same thing in a different way and have to do the band-aid again. It's only a temporary fix. But a solution is having a knowledge about how to apply the band-aid. A solution is the knowledge you need in order to be able to have a long-term answer for a short-term problem. Time and positioning. Ecclesiastes 9, the book of Ecclesiastes is just a book of human wisdom. Though God blessed Solomon with his wisdom and all else, doesn't mean that Solomon didn't experience things in life. And the book clearly talks about Solomon's life experiences. He wrote the book. He also wrote the book of Proverbs. So with that being said, a fix is only a quick answer to a temporary problem, but not a permanent resolve. I'll use that word. It's not a permanent resolve. But if you find a solution, then it's likely that you'll have the same issue pop up later several times over and over again. But since you already have the knowledge on and the experience on how to fix that similar issue, you can go back and use the solution that you came up with or that was given to you and apply that knowledge. You can teach a man, you can give a man a fish and he can eat for a day. Or you can teach a man to fish and he can eat for a lifetime. So if I give you a fish, you've got a temporary fix to a temporary issue. You're hungry now. Here's a fish. Thank you. I'll take it. I'm hungry again later. But what if that fix isn't there for you again? What if that fix, that temporary solution or temporary resolve, is not available again? What are you going to do? So you learn how to fish, and you can use this analogy for any application in life. Teach, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, it will not depart from him. Give. That's the reason why the Bible talks about wisdom being more precious than gold, more valuable. Because if I give you the ability, the knowledge, through knowledge of having the experience of applying that knowledge consistently over and over, then you have the solution in your head. And that solution is a long term resolve. It's something that you'll always have because you've been in that similar situation before. And guess what? I've got the answer. I remember having this situation happen before. I'm going to apply the knowledge that I have, and it might work. I might have to use it in a different way, but that knowledge I have, that the wisdom that I've been given, the experiential wisdom that I've been given, I can apply it to the situation because I've seen this similar thing happen before. That's why I say you can learn from people with experience, but how are they applying their experience? Did they learn from past mistakes, and have they utilized their mistakes to evaluate themselves and the way they applied the knowledge they had before to make it better, and in making self improvements in order for you to learn from them, to have some type of good knowledge and a good knowledge base, a concrete foundation to learn from and stand on that you can apply for longevity? Or are they still the same foolish person that you knew 10 years ago that did the same thing 10 years ago, and they're still doing the same thing, and they've always done the same thing, so they're your friend and you're just going to listen to them because they're your friend? Listen, just because you're used to something doesn't mean it has to stay that way. Just because it's something that you're accustomed to, that you're comfortable with, that you that's the only knowledge you've ever had, that's the only experience you've ever had, that's all you know because that's all you've been doing for the last 20 years. If you're still alive, you have an opportunity to change the way you live. Time and positioning. Jesus cursed the fig tree for being unfruitful. Now, if you constantly trying to find a place to rest and live at ease, you're not being fruitful. Not necessarily saying you have to be a busybody to be fruitful or have a job to be fruitful. What I'm saying is, how can you get what's needed or necessary? How can you make progress? How can you grow? How can you do anything without making some kind of effort to get something done? I've had people get mad at me for just caring, you know? They get mad at me for caring, and it's really, it's crazy how can you get mad at somebody for caring about what your well-being? That's not well. That's not very good. Not a good way to live, you know? I mean, just because the people around you aren't doing exactly what this other person is doing doesn't mean that your life is coming to an end. Appreciate what you have because it's not going to be there forever. I can keep putting a band-aid on it for you. I can keep covering it up and saying, yeah, okay, well, here's another band-aid for you. This will help you feel better for the time being. You know, just a quick, simple fix. That's all you want. Short-term resolve, but then right back to the same old thing tomorrow. Or I can teach you how to overcome that adversity and that hardship, that mindset, and you can just start choosing to live better. I don't intentionally try to I don't try to force my way of thinking on anybody. And I mean, it's sad to know that you could try being the best friend, the most available, the give it your all. You can give your all and just be so underappreciated. And I know there's people that would prefer to be appreciated before they even put effort into doing anything. They want to know that somebody appreciates them before they even say, okay, um, I'll try. No, don't wait until you get the appreciation and start trying to appreciate yourself. If you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. I can't tell you what to think. I can't tell you how to be or how to feel. But the best way I can tell you is this: you have to want to do better in order for your life to be better. You have to. It has to start in here for you specifically. I can't help you do better in your life before I get better in my life. And the only way I can help you is if you're actively doing something productively, moving toward accomplishing a goal. I can't do it for you, but I can help you in your process while I'm working through mine. Teamwork makes the dream work. When the Chicago Bulls were world champions, you didn't see Michael Jordan playing the whole game all by himself against the whole offensive team on the opposing side. No, he was using his teammates. Though he did put a lot more effort in than his teammates, he did have his teammates, and he did use his teammates, and his teammates used him. But it was the fact that he wanted it more is what made him the GOAT. You got to want it first. Just because you say you want it doesn't mean you want it. You can talk about it all day long, but if you're not moving toward and actively working toward doing something to accomplish what you're talking about that you want specifically, nobody's going to want to help you do anything. They just see you talking like you're barking orders at people, expecting them to do it because you want to be king or queen. Do as I say, cracking whips. Nobody wants to help somebody just like that. Nobody wants to just, I mean, I can make myself available to you, but I'm not your personal servant. I'm not the type of person that wants to be like, okay, well, yes, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, master. No, no. Okay, now I can only deal with so much as with everybody else walking the earth. I'm not the only person in the world with feelings. I'm not the only person in the world with goals and aspirations of hoping to do something better and want to give. And I would like for somebody to be present to help me all the time and help me in the way that I help people. I give to people, and I try to help people with what I didn't have and what I don't have. I try to give what I don't have because I would like to one day see it come back to me. Just as an example. But I really hope that the Lord's speaking to you today. Whatever time of day, I told you what day this video was made on, the time frame, what year, month, and date. But that doesn't mean that this didn't come at a time that you needed to hear it. And I hope that the Lord bless you with it and helps you to be developed. And there are other people out there that have a whole lot more knowledge than I do. God has blessed them with a lot more wisdom and a lot more understanding about how to work through things. And by all means, if you find your way to the Lord through any source, stay in a relationship with God, because he will guide you, he will direct you, he will instruct you in his wisdom, and he will give you strength and courage. And sometimes it might not seem like it, but it's there. You just got to push through it. You just got to push through it. Sometimes sometimes you just feel like there's not enough. You want to give up. You just want to turn everything away. You want to just, it's not easy. Trust me, I know. But for what it's worth, I believe that every person has it in them to change the world if they really, really, really want to see it change. Have a blessed day. I hope you have a blessed day. Hope you have a blessed week. See you next time.